Good morning, team. Happy Monday and welcome back. Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a fantastic holiday break, some time away from the charts. I know I did. All right, I'm gonna mark off the overnight highs and lows real quick. I have to admit, I did not expect NQ to gap up like this after the news over the weekend. The Venezuela stuff going on. I expected gold to go up, which it did, and I caught a little bit of a long on gold last night, but did not expect NQ to go up too. All right, so my thoughts, my game plan was this gold shaded area that I have, that was a big resistance area. If we were holding below that, I would be looking for shorts. But if we stay up here, this could be a long game. One thing to watch out for though is we had this big red bar on Friday, this big red drop. So it could just be grabbing this liquidity up here. There was lots of accumulation in like the 690, 700 area. So if it comes up here and grabs this liquidity and then rejects, we still have a chance for shorts. But I would be careful of it and just cautious because we do have this support area down here. What are you guys thinking? Let me know in the chat. What are you planning for today? So at this point, a good risk to reward on a possible long is the bottom of this high volume node, right around like 544-ish. So if it comes down here and it kind of holds this as support, we could be looking for longs. If it opens up first and heavily rejects this 700 level, we could be looking for shorts. Kind of what I'm watching for. We shall see. Oh, Nick, haven't seen you in here in a while. Good to see you, man. How was everyone's break? Do you guys do any traveling or anything fun? Or maybe just some downtime at home, a staycation? That's always nice. That's kind of what we did. I had a couple of weekend trips to go see family that's close by within driving distance, and we stayed overnight. So just two little 2-day trips. But other than that, just kind of hung out at home. It was nice. Went to the movie theaters, went to the playgrounds. Lots of time at home just playing games and building puzzles and stuff like that. It was a nice break. Hey there, I'm new here. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. All right, we got market open in about 3 minutes. We do have news at 10 o'clock Eastern, so 30 minutes after the open, we have manufacturing PMI. And then later this afternoon, if you guys trade in the afternoon, Trump is doing some sort of meeting, a policy meeting. So be aware of that. If you're like me, I don't love trading while Trump is talking. Did I celebrate New Year's Eve anywhere? No, actually, I'm pretty lame. I like sleep and I'm not a big partier. I don't drink much and I don't really like big crowds. So honestly, New Year's Eve is not my thing. Plus, I have 3 little kids and one of them, my youngest son, is an early bird. So he will be up at 6 o'clock in the morning no matter how late we go to bed. So I'm not a fan of like staying up till midnight or past midnight and then being woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That just makes the rest of the day rough. So my New Year's Eve, hung out with the kids on the couch and I was in bed by like 9:45. That's what I did. What about you guys? Did anyone do anything crazy fun? All right, market is open. Here we go. Pete Sides asking about the Discord. I actually posted an update in there that we're pausing the Discord for now. I'll send you a message about it. I'll send you an update about it. Pausing the premium Discord for now. Gyms January 1st are always packed. Yeah. I go regularly anyway, but yeah, I do notice the crowds are different. I went this morning, I go at 5 a.m. and it was a little more crowded than normal. December, it was nice. I had free range of all the equipment because no one was there at 5 a.m. in December. But today, I guess it was the first Monday in January, everyone was back on it. All right, I have my chart on the 15-minute. I'll go ahead and zoom in, start marking off our ranges. Opening a little bit choppy so far. Nothing super decisive. really there's not a whole lot of like liquidity sweep level opportunities right now. It's kind of just ranging in the middle. The only thing we really have is that accumulation I was talking about at like 700. It didn't end up coming up there. It is opening down. Let's see how it reacts at this gold shaded level I was talking about. That's kind of a support and resistance zone. Let's see if it breaks back through it. We also do have VWAP down here at 420 or 524. Overall, my bias was short, but again, not above this level. I don't want to jump into anything too soon. So far, the direction is down. I posted this in Discord last night, but I really am surprised at the lack of movement, I guess, after the news. I expected Sunday night's open to be a little bit crazier. NQ didn't move at all Sunday night. Gold moved up, but it wasn't like super volatile. There wasn't a lot of volume. And then this market open, not as crazy as I expected. It's kind of slowly making its way down towards that level. I'm interested to see if it holds here or what we get. Coming down to the bottom of this high volume node and VWAP area. So if this thing is going to bounce, this is kind of where I would expect it to. Something like that. There's a little 50-point bounce. I want to let this 15-minute opening range settle a little bit, see what we get out of it. ES went up to previous day high and is rejecting from there right now. So that is interesting. NQ is pretty far away from previous day high. Hey guys, is it just me or is this kind of a slow open? Maybe I was just expecting more, like coming back from the holidays, starting to get some news, data releases, all that stuff. I was like, man, there's going to be more volume today. I guess I was wrong. Coming down to VWAP. Normally I like some momentum on a VWAP bounce. This is choppy. Decent volume on that 1 minute candle bounce off of VWAP. See if we actually get some continuation though. Not looking like it. That could have been the trade to take right there, honestly. It was the bottom of that high volume node and VWAP bounce. I think the thing that threw me off was that it's just so slow right now. It's all right. The 15-minute opening range still hasn't even been set yet, so watching to see what we get. How you guys doing in the chat? Anyone taking any trades yet? You guys are being quiet. All right, good. Y'all are making me feel a little bit better about myself that I haven't taken any. I know it's good to stay patient. I'm proud of myself for that, but a little bit annoyed that I didn't take this one. Like I said, I was talking through it. I was like, man, if this level holds, bounce off of VWAP, and that's what happened. It's like an 80-point bounce so far. All right, kind of chopping around in the middle of the range. Let's see what happens on either end of the range. ES is breaking above its previous day high right now. So the fact that NQ bounced off of VWAP has been bullish all night. I'm kind of wondering if we're going to break outside the top of this 15-minute opening range. Possibly head up to previous day high, since that's kind of what ES is doing. Gold has been moving. I just pulled up the gold chart on a different screen. It had a nice bounce off of VWAP. G-Man, what's up? Yeah, gold has been crazy. G-Man, are you back to work? You back to your normal schedule? Back to reality? All right, so NQ got that bounce. Now it's breaking back below VWAP. This is interesting. And ES is kind of looking like it's breaking back below previous day high. What is going on here? All right, new plan. Everyone just market order in on a long with gold. Geez, that's the way to win today. Don't really do that. I'm kidding, but dang. Yeah, Stockfather, waiting for news. That might be why things are a little bit choppy. No, I did not catch this morning's move up on gold. I caught a little bit of the move last night. I should have been watching the New York Open for gold. Had a super clean bounce off of VWAP pretty much right at the open, a little bit after the open. All right, we got 10 minutes until news, so at this point we're just going to wait, see what we get. Old trader, it's all right. There's always another opportunity, right? Stay patient. What is it at 10 o'clock? It's PMI, right? Manufacturing PMI? Yeah. It could be what the market's waiting for. I hope. I hope it's waiting for something, and this isn't a sign of what the first week in January is going to look like. I think trading in the era of Trump's presidency has kind of spoiled us with volatility. Or maybe we've just gotten used to it, over the last year plus. We're always expecting something crazy. A lot of movement today. Yeah, it's just not super clean. Like continuation. Right now, it's just chopping around in the middle. I'm on the 1 minute chart. If you look at the 5 minute, it's not really going anywhere. But like I said, we do have news in a couple minutes, so hopefully it's because of that. Looking at the 15-minute chart, it's holding this level pretty strong. Those are some good wicks. But then when you zoom out to the 1 hour, you have this giant red bar right here. And there's been lots of accumulation in this zone. You can see all of this right here. All of that. That looks like accumulation for shorts to me. So I don't love the idea of taking a long right into all of that. Anyone else see that? So I don't know. I mean, that's right outside the 15-minute opening range. So I could kind of see this being like a fake breakout and then rejection. But that could also just be me and my short bias looking for a reason to take a short. So let's be patient and see what we get. Maverick, good morning. Happy New Year. Five minutes till news and gold is still pumping up. Man. Let's see. Looking at gold. I didn't take these. Let me move those. So same idea on gold that I was talking about with NQ. Quite a bit of accumulation right here. A little bit of chop right here. This is some decent chop that built up to that giant red bar right there. So this could be resistance in this area. Somewhere around like 44.80. That's still a long way up though. So I have the ES chart up on another screen. This is kind of what I was talking about. This white line is previous day high. And it's kind of struggling, hovering at this area, but there's lots of wicks underneath. So depending on how news comes out, this could just be an accumulation to continue higher. We're about to find out. It should go down. I don't know. I don't like to use the word should with trading. The market can do whatever it wants. You can have your confluences and your reasons to think that statistically speaking it's more likely to go down. But saying it should go down, that could be dangerous. Good morning, Verisat. How's it going? Long time no see. $25,800 is a good area to sell. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching. That's previous day high. And then there was all that accumulation that I kind of laid out right here. So even 25,750, I like that area. We shall see though. All right, that was news. That was the excitement that we were waiting for. Not very exciting. Oh my goodness. Back into the chop. All right, we're finally starting to get some selling pressure. Let's start looking at what would the risk to reward be if stop loss was up there. Ooh, I don't like that. A 50-point stop loss. Potentially down to Asia low if this thing does get bearish. Gonna stay patient and wait for a better entry, but I do like the idea of shorts. If we are going to go down, if shorts are going to be the play, it might need to go up and grab some more liquidity first. Still just chopping around in here. You think longs have a better probability? Honestly, I think no trades right now, at least for me in my playbook, no trades have a good probability. I would just be guessing at this point. Don't diddle in the middle, right? That's what they say. All right, guys. While we're waiting for this chop on NQ to figure itself out, I want to get you guys to share something in the chat that you are going to be changing to improve your trading this year. Something specific. I don't want to just hear like, oh, I'm going to get more payouts or I'm going to be more patient or whatever. Like something specific. Something that's actually tangible, like you can do it every single day. I'll tell you something that I did. I'll kind of put myself on blast here. One thing that I struggle with is trading to P&Ls. And I've talked about this in some of my videos before, but like I always do the math of like, all right, if I make $600 a day for 5 days and I hit this consistency rule, then I can take a payout in 7 days or whatever. Like I do those things. So I'm always trading to a P&L. Like I need to make X number of dollars today in this account. And there's a lot of times that I will stretch my take profit target based on that P&L. Like maybe I'll say based on price action, the target should be at the top of this range, but maybe I'll put it just a little bit higher because that's where my dollar amount target is. And it messes me up a lot. Like looking back at my journals, there's been plenty of trades that I got stopped out at break even because I did something stupid like that, trading to P&L. So what I have done to help with that is I removed the DOM on my trade of 8 because I can see the P&L on there and I'll like look and see like, oh, if it hits here, that'll be the amount of money that I want to make. And that's where I'll move my target. So I totally removed the DOM and I'm just going to take profit where the price action tells me I should take profit. Can't even see the dollar amount. Keeping track of prop firm buying and going one at a time. That's smart. That's one thing that I got myself into trouble with early. I got, like, when I first got my very first payout, I got cocky and started to copy trade. And then I started blowing accounts faster. Instead of blowing one account, I was blowing 5 accounts and then re-upping with 5 more accounts, and it got stupid. So I had to slow down and do the same thing, go back to one account. Using higher time frames, that's a good one. I started doing that several months back. Moving to, I mean, I know the 5-minute chart's not a higher time frame, but like getting off of just sitting on the 1-minute chart, because it's so easy to get caught up in every single candle on the 1-minute chart. But like here on the 1 minute, you could think like, oh, it's making a higher high, higher low. We're going to go to the moon. But then you look at the 5 minute and you're like, nope, it's just chopping with wicks everywhere. So that helps a lot with staying patient for me, being able to zoom out a little bit. And then I have a 1 hour chart on a different screen so I can always see like what higher time frame resistance levels or support levels it might be approaching. I like that one. Focused on taking profit while it's on the table. Heck yeah. Yeah, that's another thing, kind of going off of what I was saying before about how I do the math of like, if I make this much money over 5 days, I'll get a payout, and then I end up blowing an account because I'm trying to get it done in 5 days. Like, putting a timeline on myself it really messes me up. So one big thing, I don't have like a specific goal or whatever, or specific action that I'm doing like before, where I said I'm taking my DOM off of my screen. But one thing I'm constantly trying to remind myself of is taking my time. Like, not trying to force a payout this week or in the next 5 days. Because really, if, for me at least, like in my financial goals, if I just take a step back and like I could get one payout, like copy traded across my accounts, one payout a month, and I will make more than what I need to get by. Obviously more would be cool, but just being consistent with one payout a month is plenty. And so I could take base hits, tiny little trades, and get a payout in a month. But when I try to force it and get it done in a week or, a shorter amount of time, that's when I do stupid stuff and go on tilt. So I like that one, Zach. Taking profit while it's on the table. Can I please get a free 25K account? I think we would all love that. I want one too. All right, coming back up to the top of that 15-minute opening range. Similar to what I said on this bounce off of VWAP, I don't love taking opening range breakout trades when there's not momentum. This just seems so slow to me. So if it is going to break out of the opening range, what I'm going to do is wait for a 5-minute candle closure outside to confirm, and then wait for a pullback to get a better risk to reward to go long. So if all of that happens, I would consider a long. But again, I'm kind of watching for it to come up and reject and maybe close back inside the range. So we'll see. Good job, G-Man. Were you trading gold? I'm guessing you got in a long on gold, right? Seems like something you would have been watching. Seems like there's no stop in gold, though. Earlier, I pulled up the gold chart and I was looking at like 44.80s for a potential target. It could keep going. we got into a little pre-market trade. There you go. All right, NQ is still kind of chopping around in the middle here. Where is the 50% for the range? Here's the middle right here. Would kind of make sense if we get a pullback to the middle of the range. That's also the New York anchored VWAP right at 25,606. Also kind of a round whole number if it comes down to like 600 and then bounces. So we can watch for that. If we put our stop loss below those wicks, risk to reward is 1 to 2, not terrible if it ever comes down there. Take no marvel. Nice job, man. Is it a Lucid eval or who are you with? What prop firm? Yeah, so with Lucid, it takes like 30 seconds to a minute. Just go to your dashboard and click on your evaluation account. It should have a little green button that says upgrade. Upgrade to funded, I think is what it says. And then it'll just have you sign a little like trader agreement. And then once you do that, just refresh your Trade-of-8 or whatever platform you have. And then you should see that new account there. Let's go. That's one thing I love about Lucid. I could go on about the things that I like about them, but one of the things is that you can trade your funded right away. Like it literally takes 1 minute for the dashboard to update. You don't have to wait for the end of day processing like a lot of them. Honestly, though, it's a good and bad thing. Because for me, if you guys are like me, I trade my evals a little more aggressively, which is not a good thing. I'm not proud of it. But being able to go straight from that like aggressive trading mindset into a funded account where I need to like slow down and take my time and be more selective with trades. And there's only like a 60-second gap window between there. So I have to like consciously not upgrade to a funded account and walk away and take some time and then come back with a new mindset where I'm not trading like a degen anymore. Yeah, take no marvel. You'll stay on the sim demo side of things because it's still a sim account. But now you can take payouts. Let's go. Yeah, I don't think it's smart to trade like a degen with evals. Like I said, I'm not proud of it. There's just something about the mindset with it that, yeah, maybe it's just because it's like, oh, it's only $70 or whatever. I don't want to waste my time on this eval. I want to get to the funded stage. There's definitely a glitch, a mental glitch with it. So I have to kind of like flush my mindset going from an eval trading to a funded trading. Yeah, they do have, Lucid has NinjaTrader, Trade of 8. Well, it never pulled back to that 600 level, going straight to the top of the range. So that idea didn't work out. So at this point, let's see what happens at the top of this range. If we get maybe a little peak outside of it and it just wicks up and comes back down with some aggressive selling, we could look for a short, or that scenario I said before where if we get a 5-minute candle closure outside and then maybe wait for a little pullback to go long. Gonna see what happens up here. Motive wave. I've never used that. I've never used motive wave or rhythmic or quant tower. Really, I guess I'm boring, or I get comfortable with what I know and I stick with it. So I was using Project X mostly before they started to fall apart. Now I don't want to use them anymore. So I use Trade of 8 because that's what I was comfortable with before Project X. And I guess I've never gotten brave enough to venture out into anything else. I know there's a lot of people that like Quant Tower, and they say that Rhythmic is good too. Oh, 84 people watching, 27 likes. No love. Haven't seen you guys in like 2 weeks. Think of the like button like a high five. Like giving me a virtual high five. I'll give you one back. Right back at you. Out of the habit. Right? You got to get back into it. I know. There you go, Nick. Yeah, I think you were on the live stream earlier when I was saying it, and I'm a little bit annoyed with myself because this so far was the trade of the day, but this was the bottom of that support zone right at 545 and a VWAP bounce. I chickened out, man. That could have been a 100-point trade right there. I missed it. Take note, Marvel, in the Flex account, you have to have 5 green days. So there's no consistency or anything. I'm pretty sure there's not even a buffer. You just have to trade to 5 green days, which the definition of a green day depends on the size of account you have. I can look it up real quick, but I think it's like $100 for the 25K, $150 for the 50K, and $200 for the 100K. It's something like that. I'm going to look it up right now. What size account did you say? Yeah, what I said was right. So minimum daily profit for the 25K is $100. If you have the 50K, it's $150. Okay, so you have the 25K. So you have to trade 5 days of a minimum of $100, and then you can request a payout. And you can request up to 50% of your profit. That way you're leaving a little bit of a buffer. So let's say your total profit over those 5 days is $2,000. You can take out $1,000, and then you'll leave the rest in there for a buffer. Yeah, that's the Lucid Flex is what I'm talking about, MB Trader. Still floating around. It's coming to the top of that range, but not very aggressively. Not very much enthusiasm today. Where is the volume? What the heck? Where's all the traders? Take no marvel on the Flex account. No. Tradeify has daily payouts. So Tradeify, the select plan, once you pass the eval, you can choose the Flex plan, which is a 5 days to pay out, or you can choose the daily plan, which is daily payouts. So I do both. Yeah, MB Trader, I know Take Profit has daily payouts. I do not recommend Take Profit for a lot of reasons. I think the biggest reason is their customer service sucks. I've known at least 5 people, like in my Discord, and people that I actually know are like real humans, have had issues with, I say that because there's a lot of bots in Discord. People who have had issues with Take Profit, like double charging their account or something like that. And then it takes 3 weeks for customer service to even respond and give them a refund. Like, I think that's crap. On top of that, I think their rules are stupid. I really don't like intraday trailing drawdown. I think it's a rule made to make traders fail. So that's why I actually like Trade Day better than Take Profit Trader, because they have the same like 5-day eval, pretty much same exact eval rules as Take Profit Trader, but they have end of day drawdown, not intraday. So I think either Tradeify or Trade Day are best for daily payouts. Were you trading micros or minis? Oh, geez, on a 25K account? I hope you were not trading minis. That's crazy. Oh, sixth payout with Apex. Let's go. Congrats, man. That's awesome. There is not an account with Lucid that pays daily until you get to their live accounts. Yeah, I really like Trade Day's customer service. And their rules are better. Customer service for me is a big deal, especially when you're dealing with online companies like prop firms that have a bad reputation for scamming people. So when it takes you 48 hours to even reply to my inquiry, and then it takes you 2 to 3 weeks to refund my money, I'm not cool with that. All right. Came up to the top of the range. So waiting on what I was telling you guys. Let's see if we get a 5-minute candle closure outside the top of the range. Then we can look for a pullback to enter longs. Or if we get selling here and it wicks and closes back below, could be looking for short. So gonna stay patient here. Yep, I think pretty much every prop firm, I mean, I haven't looked at every single one of them, so don't quote me on that, but pretty much every prop firm I've looked into has some sort of monthly subscription fee, where if you don't pass your eval within the first month, they're going to charge you a subscription fee. So I think Lucid is the only one that I know of that does not charge you monthly. Yeah, Trade Day has an 80-20 split. I'm pretty sure Take Profit Trader does too. I personally don't mind the 80-20 split because they don't have a cap on their payouts. Like, they're always going to cap it somehow. Like Tradeify, for example, they have a 90-10 split, but they cap you at $1,000. So, I mean, there's always going to be some sort of catch, I guess. Gospel Clarity, I appreciate the support. Thank you. All right, still hovering around the top of the range. Not giving us a whole lot of clues for where it wants to go right now. This price action's for the birds. For real. I can tell you guys, I definitely did not expect this. The first Monday back after the holidays, we have a war going on in Venezuela. we had some PMI news. Like, I was ready. I did not expect to not be taking a trade. Jeez. With Lucid, is there an account that doesn't have a 50% split for payouts? Yes. So the Flex is a 50% split. Honestly, a lot of them have that. Like Top Step has that. And that's really just to make you keep a buffer in the account. But the Pro account does not have a 50% split. They just have a cap. I think it's like $1,500 per account that you can take as a payout on the 50K account, and then it goes up for the bigger accounts. No, I shouldn't have said war and B-Trader. It's not a war. Just the whole Venezuela drama going on. But I don't know. I don't read the news or watch the news enough to really be able to comment with education. But, you know, if China is involved and China already doesn't like us and there's a battle over oil and just all that stuff. And Trump likes to be a bully and pick on people. Who knows? Might turn into a war. I say that half jokingly, though. All right, 1 minute left on this candle. Looks like it is starting to close outside the range. So gospel clarity, after 5 payouts on Lucid, it's either 5 or 6. After a certain amount of payouts, you go live. So then all of the money that you have left will go to a live account. But I'll tell you this, it is a max with the Flex account, going live from the Flex account, it's a max of $2,000 per account that you can take into live. So if you copy trade 5 accounts, you'll have $10,000 in your live account. So to be honest, I mean, if you're talking about 6 payouts from Apex, it sounds like you're a pretty solid trader. The Pro account is a much better account for going live. You can actually take up to $150,000 live with a Pro account. So the Flex is cheaper, but the long-term like potential with the Pro account is much better if you're an advanced trader. I would say Flex is better if you're a beginner because it's a little bit easier to qualify for a payout. Flex is better for long-term. Or sorry, Pro is better for long-term. All right, starting to close back below the range. That's kind of why I was being patient. I see lots of resistance up here, so I don't want to long into that without confirmation. Gosh, you guys. I don't know if I want to trade this. 2 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. I really want to short it. Come on, how are we going to close? What's it going to be? Well, if anything, that definitely shows you why you don't take a long on the first break outside of a 15-minute opening range. Right? Am I right? Gospel clarity, good question. So they actually just gave the opportunity to have 5 separate live accounts. So to be totally honest, I haven't gotten to that point. So I don't know from personal experience. But I know that you have the ability to have 5 accounts. I believe they give you a choice to consolidate them into 1 or have 5. But that was a recent announcement or a recent change that they made because I guess everyone wanted to be able to copy trade or split it up into 5 accounts. So they did that. So that was a good 5-minute candle closure back inside the range. Pretty bearish. Not a whole lot of volume behind it though. Like there wasn't an increase in volume. What would I choose? 5 live or consolidate? That is a really good question. So I am not currently at a level of trader where I would get 5 payouts from the same account. I mean, it's coming. Like I would love to have it happen this year. But if you were to ask me with my current like trader psychology level, I personally would want 5 different live accounts. And I think that's because mentally it's easier. Like watching the P&L swings of 5 times what I normally take, I think that would mess with my head. Like normally I risk about $200 per trade, but I copy trade that across 5 accounts. So really I'm risking like $1,000 per trade, but I don't see that. I see 200. So I think if it was all wrapped into one account and I actually saw those P&L swings and I could see that I was potentially going to lose $1,000 on this trade, that might mess me up. So knowing that, I would probably want to have 5 different accounts that I can copy trade. But that's in my current like level of psychology, I guess. That might change later. I don't know. All right, so closed in the range, came back up and retested the top of the range and rejected again. All right, I'm gonna enter short. Oh, gospel clarity. I actually, I don't mind the questions at all. I honestly like it because it distracts me from feeling like I need to look for a trade at all times. So ask away. Also, if you feel like you have more questions that I haven't answered or something comes up later, I don't know if you're in my Discord or not, but you're welcome to join the Discord and ask in there too. So targets, I entered at 655. I can move this onto the screen so you guys can see it. Targets, we got several things that might hold up as support here. We have New York anchored VWAP. That will be the first one. And then our session VWAP is down at 570-ish. Goodness. This is going to put me to sleep, you guys. Yeah, take no marvel. I got in 5 contracts on MNQ. It's not going anywhere though. It has stayed in the same exact spot. This is our 15-minute opening range low if it decides to actually go down there. And then, like I said, VWAP is down at 571. So those are potential targets if it actually does start to move. Gold kind of looks like it's flagging to go up higher. Not perfect, but it just kind of looks like it's consolidating a little bit. Possibly. Hasn't broken out yet, but it might. How is Lucid's customer service? Honestly, that's one of the reasons that I like them. If you were here a couple minutes ago when I was talking about Take Profit Trader, terrible customer service, and one of the reasons I don't like them is because it's really bad. Customer service is important to me. So their response time is really fast. Usually it's within minutes, if not at least on the same day. And then they are very transparent about how they give their team time off over the holidays. So in their Discord, they have made announcements that like, we're not going to be able to help you on, December 31st and January 1st, and we won't be processing payouts. Like they're transparent with that, which I can respect because they're giving their team some time off. But outside of those times, their customer service is fantastic. Their conflict resolution has been good. I personally haven't had any issues with like accounts being double charged or anything like that. So I haven't had to deal with conflict resolution, but there have been a couple people in our Discord that have had issues. Like one guy, there was something with gold on Trade-Ovate where it didn't process his order or whatever. I don't know exactly what happened, but they reset his account. So there have been a couple times where they've done the right thing, in my opinion. I've only heard good things. No one's perfect, though. I mean, I'm sure there have been some people that don't like it. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that interview actually went really well. It was a fun conversation. I feel like it flowed pretty well. Well, I don't know about this. Still just chopping around. I have my stop loss a little bit above the 15-minute opening range high. I guess it needs to go about there. 78, 678. Yeah, that was the plan, Birdman, is kind of a liquidity grab short. It doesn't look great, though, with how choppy and slow the momentum is. On top of that, though, not just a liquidity grab, but if you zoom out to the hourly or the 30-minute or any higher time frame, you can see that this right here is kind of an area of resistance. There was some accumulation here before we had that big drop. So it wicked up into that zone and started to reject. So I like shorts from this general area anyway. And then the risk to reward on it, in my opinion, is good, because if it does continue down and maybe even just goes to the bottom of the range, that's like a 5-to-1 risk to reward, or even just a VWAP is a little over a 3. Compared to the risk to reward on a long, I think is not good because of that resistance that I was saying is right here. And you can even drag that over to even more accumulation in this area. So if you were to take a long on a breakout outside of the range, you have all of this that you're up against. So risk to rewards on longs are no bueno. The only issue is that it's not a great textbook liquidity grab. Typically, I look for a rejection with higher volume, and there was no volume. There really hasn't been much volume all day after the open. So that's the only issue I see with it, is it could continue to like float up a little bit higher into that purple box that I drew before actually rejecting. But we shall see. Oil looks like it wants to break out. I believe it. Just based on the news. I haven't looked at the chart. Definitely getting a little bit of accumulation on the time and sales. This price action is lame, you guys. I don't know why I'm trying to trade this right now. Joe Dirt, good morning. I had to glance at what time it is. Oh, I guess for you it's not morning. Good evening to you. But I feel like I've already had such a long day. Like I already said, I worked out at 5 a.m., cooked the kids breakfast, and I've been trading for a couple hours. And you guys are saying good morning. I'm like, oh, it's still morning. Dang. I guess you're right. All right, chat. Speaking of working out, admit it. Who has a New Year's resolution to start working out more or eat healthier or lose weight or something like that along those lines? I saw a statistic, something like 43% of people make a New Year's resolution to exercise more. And there was something in the 30s, like 35 or 38% of people make a New Year's resolution to lose weight. Do I trade on Tradeify? I do, actually. I have their select accounts. I like those. I used to really like the growth accounts. Those were my favorite. But when they released the select account, what was it, last month, a couple months ago, I switched over to those because I like the daily payouts. And I actually shared in Discord, what was it, a week and a half ago, last week, something like that. I had a weak moment and tried to trade while I was on the road, and my kids were frustrating, and I was distracted and totally blew my funded account. So I was so mad at myself. It was one of those things where, like, you know, hindsight's 2020, but I knew better. I should not have done it. There were so many reasons that I should not have been trading, and I did it, and I blew my accounts. It was my Tradeify funded accounts. So I got my head screwed back on right and actually passed some accounts today. So tonight I should be able to activate them. Your New Year's resolution is not to water down your personality to make other people comfortable. I like that one. That's a good one. Just be yourself. Definitely a good one. Good for you. Drink 64 ounces of water and work out 5 days a week. Let's go. 64 ounces of water is not that much, Charles. A general rule of thumb is half your body weight in ounces. So, rough number, let's say you weigh 200 pounds. That's 100 ounces of water. And that's usually like a minimum. If you're working out a bunch, like if you have a super sweaty workout, you're working out in the sun in the summer or something like that, you should probably drink more. Alrighty, it might just float up to my stop loss here. What do I trade? I trade NQ mostly. I do watch ES, and every once in a while, if there's a more clear trade on ES, I'll take ES trades, but mostly NQ. And then during the Asia session, I do watch gold because it moves pretty well during Asia. Miss Mail. Hello, hello. I'm part of the gold gang. I'm trying to be friends with gold, but it's not very nice to me sometimes. Oh my goodness. Almost hit my stop loss. Top of that 15-minute opening range, it keeps rejecting that. Alrighty. That was my stop loss. So we do have our initial balance. Initial balance high is right above the opening range high. So we could reject there too. But I don't want to keep trying to find the top. Yeah, Marion, NQ is a little mean sometimes. You just have to get used to how it moves. Like it's really well known for, it likes to grab liquidity. So if you're the type where you'll place a stop loss like right above a wick high or something like that, it'll purposely just come grab liquidity and then go in the direction that you wanted it to go originally. So you just have to learn how to read NQ. Not sure what we see in NQ. Ace trades, what do you trade? I'm curious now. ES? Okay. All right, so NQ is breaking out of the high of today. ES is not quite. It's coming up to it. So we can watch and see what happens up there. It's just not your friend. NQ is what I was introduced to futures on because the person that I was an acquaintance of mine on Facebook, he was trading NQ and it just got me curious about it. So that was the first thing that I ever tried to learn. And I guess I just kind of got used to it. NQ's still grinding up slowly. I'm watching ES on another screen. It has initial balance high a little bit above. I have my line in the wrong spot. This is initial balance high. So it's starting to break above it too. $60-minute IB is initial balance. So the initial balance is the first 60 minutes of trading after the New York Open. And I mark off the range high and low. It's the same idea as the 15-minute opening range. It's just the 60-minute. And a lot of times, instead of people calling it the opening range, they call it the initial balance. But the trading strategy is very much the same as you would with the 15-minute opening range. You can either take a breakout and retest of that range, or you can trade the extremes. Like if this starts to heavily sell off and close back within the range, then you could potentially target like the midpoint of the range or even the bottom of the range. Coming back inside the range, but we have all this accumulation here. So I would want to see it start to get below that if we're going to be shorting. all the trading lingo. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like the initial balance gang in general, in particular, has some weird names. Like, why not just call it the 60-minute opening range? And then if it fails to break outside of the range and then closes back within the range, they call it a failed auction. Why can't you just call it a failed breakout or a fake breakout or something like that, like everyone else does with the 15-minute opening range? No, you got to call it a failed auction. Oh man, 3 a.m. for you. Why? I mean, I know New York is a great session with volatility normally, not today, but why don't you trade the London session? I guess the London session might be hard if you have a normal day job because you're, I'm guessing, at work during that time. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes, but if it continues on like this, I'm not seeing anything. It's just hovering right at these highs. I was kind of hoping for a stronger rejection, like maybe sellers to show up or a breakout, although I'm not super excited about longing up here into resistance like I was saying. But we're getting nothing here. How do you request payouts in Lucid Flex? As soon as you qualify for a payout, there should be a little button that pops up that says request payout, I think is what it says. And then if it's your first payout with them, they're going to have you go through like the KYC and all that stuff to verify you. So your very first payout might take a couple hours just to go through that procedure, that process. But once you have like your Rise account set up, or they don't use Rise, they use Plaid. Once you have Plaid set up and you have your KYC done, the actual payouts, in my experience, they've been in like 60 seconds, literally. Like they're super fast. Everything is going nowhere fast right now. Even gold, I've been watching gold. It's not really doing anything right now either. It's chopping around. With Tradeify, Jose, is that what you're talking about? I assume I chose the daily payouts. So there's definitely pros and cons of both. The daily payouts, they have a max of $1,000 a day, I think is what it is. So it's not as high. I mean, when you're copy trading 5 accounts, $1,000 per account, that's $5,000 a day. Like that's plenty. So I'm not trying to sound greedy, but the max payout is a little bit less than if you were to go the other route. But I like the idea of daily payouts. And I mean, I always try to be transparent with you guys. To be honest, I had a slump in December where I didn't take any payouts and wasn't trading very well. So I think having the opportunity to take payouts as soon as I qualify will help kind of rebuild that confidence a little bit. So I definitely wanted to go with the daily route. Oh yeah, that's right, G-Man, you passed yours. Congrats, man. Well, on a normal day, I would be looking for a short here on NQ because it's starting to close back within the initial balance range, but there's no volume supporting it. It's really just chopping around. So I don't like it right now. Yeah, Maverick, you did not miss a single thing. There ain't nothing going on. I really like Tradeify. Honestly, Tradeify and Lucid are very comparable, in my opinion, in terms of like their customer service. Payouts are really fast with Tradeify. Their rules are really fair. I like their select accounts. I think the only thing that one-ups Lucid a little bit is just because they don't have that monthly subscription fee. So I always recommend Lucid if someone is brand new and they might potentially take more than a month to pass the eval, just because it takes the pressure off knowing that you don't have to potentially pay another fee in a month. But other than that, Tradeify is also awesome. I really like the select plan. Tradeify's customer service is good. I think I saw a stat, don't quote me on this, but I saw a stat a couple months ago that Tradeify has never denied a payout. So that's very unlike Apex and some other firms where they'll like do everything they can to find a reason not to pay you. So yeah, Tradeify is solid. I personally do the 50K accounts. That's how I started when I was a newbie. I chose the 50K just because that $3,000 profit target seemed a lot more doable than a 6K or a 9K for the bigger accounts. And then I've just stuck with that. I'm comfortable with those ones. Yeah, this price action is dumb. I have 5. So 5 Tradeify and 5 Lucid. Why is price action so slow today? Is this not the day when everyone comes back from vacation? Like, I would have figured that the first full week of January would have been the start of volume picking back up, right? I need to go back and look at last year and see. This is weird. Everyone's still hungover from Christmas and New Year's? Seriously. Well, I know in terms of like the school rhythm as a parent, things really don't get back on track until next week. Because this week, my kids are still out today. They go back to school tomorrow. And then, you know, you kind of have a week of like getting back into your routine and getting back into the groove. So it's like next Monday is when you're really back in the routine. So I don't know. I wonder if banks are the same way. Your grandkids went back and they were dragging. They didn't want to go back to school. Yeah, that's the way my kids are. My older son is 10, and I was telling you guys about my youngest son who's wakes up super early. He's a morning bird, early bird. But my older son has gotten to where he can sleep. Like over Christmas, he was sleeping till 9:30 most days, which is pretty late in our family because we're all early risers. So he's going to have a rough time tomorrow when I make him get up at 6:15 in the morning. That's going to be fun. He might be a little grumpy at breakfast tomorrow. All right, guys, this is just chopping. I was sitting here, like I said, waiting to see if something happened and we had a breakout or a seller show up, but nothing's going on. I think I'm going to call it. Took one little loss, and I'm okay with that. But check out the link in the description, you guys, and join the Discord. I would love to hang out with y'all. If you are buying prop firm accounts, use code Krista. I appreciate the support from all of you guys. Otherwise, see you back tomorrow. Hopefully volume starts to pick back up and we get some good trading this week, right? All right, gang. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.